Welcome back. If you've been left in charge of an estate, well, it's really important to handle everything you can responsibly and in line with the best practices. And of course, understanding those steps to take now and in the long run's made easy with the help of Foster Financial. So right here in the studio to share more with us about today's topic is Heather Foster with Foster Financial. Heather, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's always good to be here.
It is. I know. Great to have you. This is such key information. Talk to us just about today's topic.
Well, this topic is a hard one, honestly, because when people are left in charge of an estate or a trust, it means you've lost somebody, first of all. So that's a hard thing to step into, coming off the heels of usually losing a loved one. And we see so many people leave a loved one in charge of their estate or in charge of their trust. And it just gets really complicated. And a lot of things people do is they go, I don't know what this even means. I don't know what an executor is. I don't know what a trustee is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And a lot of people, they left you in charge so that you could maybe handle that on your own without having to engage the help or the fees that you might incur with hiring a lawyer to do it all for you. A lot of people do go down the road of just hiring a lawyer and saying, I don't know what this means, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but there are workarounds to that. We actually have white papers that we give to our clients. It says, hey, if you've been left as an executor, here's the first steps to take. We're not attorneys, so we do tell people, hey, if when it gets complicated, seek an attorney, seek legal professionals. But a lot of times we can help navigate these things without the use or having to go towards the legal side of things. You can at least save yourself a lot of money from the attorney's fees. Even if you need a legal professional to step in at some point, you can save yourself a lot of money and the estate a lot of money if you kind of handle some of those first preliminary things yourself. But the big one I get is just, what is my responsibility? And the thing is, you know, we're fiduciaries as financial advisors. The moment you step into handling money for an estate, or even as a power of attorney, a trustee, you're a fiduciary now. You're legally obligated to do what's in the best interest of whatever you're serving. And what you're serving could be different things, meaning that, are you serving just the will because it says I want to, you know, this much money needs to go to these charities and these people, and your job is to make sure that that happens in the most cost-efficient way possible? Or is it maybe a elongated trust where somebody is, their money, instead of them getting, the beneficiary getting their money up front, they've decided to hold that money in trust, which means that there's rules associated with those trusts normally that maybe is to be paid out over a 10-year period or a 20-year period or a 30-year period, or maybe it has language like it's to only be used for your benefit, your health, your education, your basic needs. And defining what those basic needs are sometimes leaves trustees very confused and not understanding what am I supposed to use this money for. The other thing I want to mention is, if you are someone that you're doing your will and you're doing your trust, you need to think about who you're leaving in charge of that. I see a lot of complicated cases where maybe they've left one son in charge of their entire estate, and now we've got conflict between the siblings. So if there's any conflict in your family, you might want to consider leaving someone other than your children in charge, because it can become transactional, especially if it is an elongated trust where the trust doesn't just pay out the money up front, it's to be kept into trust for a 30-year period. You've placed yourself now in a position where you're telling one of your kids, hey, your brother and your sister, they're not going to have to handle this, but you're going to have to handle all this. You're going to have to deal with them on a regular basis on what their basic needs are. It can cause a lot of family conflict. So avoiding those family conflicts is also something, if you are doing your legal estate and thinking about who's going to be in charge, is really key.
Well, I'm glad you guys are here to help those. Thank you so much, Heather. Of course, if you would like to book a complimentary consultation with Foster Financial, well, you can find all of that information right there on your screen now. And be sure to mention that you saw them right here on 21 Alive. And you can also see all of our segments with Foster Financial at 21alivenews.com. Just click on the Lifestyle tab.